Okay, we're just going to switch the presentation here. Our next speaker I'm going to introduce is Jeff Shelstad. Jeff is the CEO of Flat World Knowledge, former vice president and editorial director at Pearson, and before that acted as publisher at McGraw-Hill, so responsible for many of the textbooks that we and our kids have consumed over the years. So, Jeff, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Flat World is trying to disrupt, reinvent the college textbook publishing space. And the way we're going to do that is to remove all the barriers, eliminate all the barriers between publication and use of high-quality content. So in higher ed, the gatekeeper is this faculty member who is in control of his class, has faculty freedom to choose whatever course materials he wants, and we have to appeal to him initially in order to scale the business. And the way we do that, quite honestly, is to use the skill sets we used in our Pearson and McGraw-Hill days to produce great content. So we basically copy the industry model on how to produce content. We go out and get a great author. We surround him or her with a development process that's pretty tried and true in the industry. We peer review. We spend a lot of money talking to professors to position our products the right way. And then we surround the product with the appropriate amount of ancillaries for faculty to consider our product at scale good enough. And that's really what it's all about. But after that, we aren't differentiated at that point, right? Now we're just in the game. So the first thing we do to start to disrupt the space is we transfer control of content to the individual faculty member. And we do that through two ways. First is we surround our content with an open license. We use a Creative Commons license, not an all rights reserved license, which is prevalent in the industry. We're just the opposite of that. We basically say, take our content and make it your own. And then we've built this underlying platform which enables all of that. So a faculty member can literally come to our site, make a derivative copy of our book. He cannot interact with the author's book, that's only the author's book, but a derivative copy, and then that derivative is his to make, insert, delete, rearrange, do whatever he wants to make that book better for his course. We believe this is the core value for professors. We believe all professors customize their course. They do that today through a syllabus. And we're just enabling them to do that in the core content they use in the course. We believe a user interface that's intuitive can scale customization quite quickly. And fundamentally, we've built the business around the economics of one. We're a digital-first publisher, so we can survive with Professor X at Arizona State having a very different product than Professor Y at the University of Arizona, and each of them having a different subset of students and maybe a very small subset of students. And then finally, we think these professor derivatives will serve the long tail. So unlike the incumbents, we won't have 6 introductory economics books. We'll have one, but through the open platform, professors will create derivatives, share those back into the catalog, and then others can benefit from that. We define open this way. The first is reuse. Reuse the book in its verbatim sense any way you want. Revise, so that's really the ability to make it better, make it your own. Remix, combine it with other open education resources or other openly licensed content. And then redistribute, which is that powerful piece I just discussed, which allows you to create a better derivative, share it, and others might benefit. This is one of our professors, Scott Hunt, Columbus State Community College, classic kind of market for us. So Scott last summer spent the better part of the summer, he's a power user, making this book, our economics book by Rittenberg and Tregarthen, now Rittenberg, Tregarthen, and his version, Hunt, perfect for his course. Probably not real useful for the guy down the road because Scott's course is Scott's course. But nonetheless, he's got the perfect book and it's very affordable. Here's another example. This is Ross Cattell at University of New Hampshire, who's an expert in corporate governance and sustainability. He added those 2 chapters that he wrote to our Introduction to Business, to his Introduction to Business course, our book, that serves 800 students at the University of New Hampshire. This derivative will have legs outside University of New Hampshire. When Ross shares this, others who want to teach sustainability in the Introduction to Business course might take his. And then the magic is we produce our content in 6 formats from inception, right? And so we're not picking a format, we're producing it in 6 formats, and then our engine, our platform, regenerates all those formats automatically post a derivative. So faculty get lots of formats and students get lots of formats. And then the final piece of our model, the real disruptive piece, is we let everybody in for free. So all learners come in for free. So if you go to Cerritos College down the road in LA, a typical urban community college, they've seen course completion rates gain 15% through the adoption of Flat World courses, only because students have access to content the first day of class. We try to convert those learners into one of those formats. Today we convert 45% of learners to a paid format, usually print, oddly enough today. But we have multiple formats available. And then this is kind of the summary of where we're at. Lots of authors, over 100 projects under contract, 40 published today. We're in over 1,200 institutions. And this coming academic year will serve about 350,000 students in the US.
Outstanding, great. Okay, I'd love it taking a page from the open software model and applying it to your industry, which is very, very exciting. I noticed the shout out for ASU, which definitely has the superior content to down the street at University of Arizona. So, Philip, perhaps you'd like to ask the first question in honor of that.
Yeah, thank you. I would. Jeff, I'd like to talk a little more about uptake. And you're right, that the decision maker here is the faculty member, and the faculty member has no economic incentive to choose one textbook over another. And my anecdotal evidence, being a faculty member for 24 years, is that they will spend about 10 minutes a year thinking about this decision. And 90% of the decision is, did they use the textbook last semester? And the other 8 to 10% is, do they know the author of another textbook? And so you say you have 1,600 total faculty at 1,200 institutions. My idea would be that this would spread virally, that students would appeal to other faculty members to use this particular modality. Are you seeing that, or how is it spreading within the institutions that you're at?
I think there's no question that what we see initially at an institution is a pilot installation, pretty commonly. Somebody goes out on a limb with one of our books and says, I'm going to try this Flat World thing, has a good experience, hopefully with the students too, and we start to see spreading at that institution. So that's a very common viral kind of approach for us. And then I do think that the other part of our model that's emerging is we're starting to see institutions, and this will be very slow, but we're starting to see institutions license content. And so if you look at what we've done with Virginia State or with Baruch or with Odessa College or with the University System of Ohio, these are institutional leaders who have stepped up and said, this is a real issue. And I want to at least put some gas on it by signing a deal with Flat World that enables some adoption across the university. And those are going to be slow, but those are interesting business relationships for us.
Barry?
Yeah, hey, Jeff, as textbooks become more digitized, my assumption is the media will need to become much more rich and interactive, particularly with the advent of the tablets. How does the business model react to that reality, particularly as the revenue stream comes from more, older line products?
Yeah, it's a great question. So today, most of our revenue does come from print through bookstores on campus, but that's a student or a bookstore choice, right? So about 90% of students who buy a product off our site without a bookstore involvement or without a faculty involvement, they're buying a print product, either print it yourself or a print black and white book. It's their choice. We're not pushing them one way or the other than through price. Our digital formats are actually cheaper than the print form. So our EPUB or our Mobi formats for handhelds are much cheaper than our print formats, but students are still choosing print. I think, so a couple answers to you. I think first off, we don't want to scare professors, back to maybe Phil's point. We get too rich with media. I think you start to scare some of the professors who give us 8% of their time and only want to know it's written by Jill Hoyle. So we're kind of stepping into two pieces there, but we're set up digitally so well to add more video into our content, or to add more, quite honestly, to partner with people who are doing some really unique things on the assessment or adaptive learning side that we'll be ready to go there when our customers start to go there quicker.
Right,
yeah.
That's great. Perfect.
Sorry.
Got to move on. Thank you, Jeff. That's great. Good job.